Wernher von Braun, the triumphant American space race rocket scientist with a tragic past involvement with Nazi Germany. After World War II, the United States and the Soviets took many talented scientists and workers from Germany, including Wernher von Braun, a rocket scientist who would become critical to the success of the US's space program. His contributions to the United States during the space race were nothing short of magnificent. The man's work was triumphant. He had made immense progress researching rockets for Germany during World War II, and his involvement with the United States only furthered his work and hastened space travel. However, although his contributions were great, the nature of his past was quite tragic, as his work for Germany before his work in the United States involved forced labor from concentration camps. Wernher von Braun, if he had not been given the opportunity to develop rockets for the United States, would have been a war criminal. He was able to lead the United States in the space race, securing their victory over the Soviets, yet his backstory is a solemn reminder that even people with the greatest accomplishments can have dark pasts hidden away. Wernher von Braun was born into a wealthy family on March 23, 1912, in Wörsitz, Germany, named Wrzesk, Poland in present day. He was born to Magnus Freiherr and Emmy Freifrau von Braun. He was the middle child, with an older brother, Sigismund, and a younger brother, Magnus. Early in his life, he was fascinated by the stars, gazing up through a telescope he received from his mother. Wernher, although initially not great at school, worked hard to be a top student, finding interest in the sciences and eventually leading to his admittance into the Berlin Institute of Technology, where he got his bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. He then proceeded to go to the University of Berlin, earning a doctorate degree in physics, but not before he became fascinated with the idea of rocket technology. Throughout his time in grad school, Wernher focused greatly on rockets, leading to his creation of a rocket which could fly 1.5 miles. Wernher was scouted by the German army in November of 1932. They'd caught interest in him after seeing his experimentation with rockets and wanted him to help them create powerful weapons using his rocket technology. He developed many prototypes and actual production rockets while working for the German army, with the most well-known being the V-2 rocket, the rocket which was fired by the Nazis in World War II against London. He developed it at a facility on an island in the Baltic Sea called Peenemünde. Here, isolated from the German people and in complete secrecy, he was able to swiftly design rockets for the German military, all of which were technical wonders for the time. After they were designed, his rockets were built in a secret facility in Mittelwerk, Germany. Mittelwerk was the perfect factory for creating weapons under Nazi Germany. It was hidden very well, with most of the factory operations being ran inside underground tunnels. The heart of the factory was powered by an army of forced laborers from the nearby concentration camps of Nordhausen and Dora. Some sources claim that Wernher was there simply for the rockets and had no influence over how they were produced. However, tragically, this may not be the case. Wernher, when asked about his membership in the Nazi Party, did not provide the correct date matching party records. Wernher, in an oath to the United States Army, said, "In 1939, I was officially demanded to join the National Socialist Party. At the time, I was already technical director of the Army Rocket Center at Peenemünde. My refusal to join the party would have meant that I would have had to abandon the work of my life. Therefore, I decided to join. My membership in the party did not involve any political activity." Wernher did not join the party in 1939. He instead actually joined the Nazis in 1937, 2 years before the date stated in his testimony. His lie of the date indicated that he was trying to cover up his involvement. Wernher von Braun was not simply a reluctant party member, but one with strong connections. Surviving camp workers used to develop the rockets recall that he had an extremely strict temper towards workers. If any one of the workers did as much as look at him wrong or step out of place in his presence, he would order them executed. He had no sympathy for the horrible acts being committed against the people in the concentration camps. If he truly was a reluctant party member, he would not have practiced this. These past actions cast a dark pall on Wernher's character.
After World War II ended, the United States and the Allies went through Germany taking whatever war technology, like weapons and plans, they could get their hands on. Because the Soviets were already taking scientists and workers from Germany to work for them, the United States decided that it was in their best interest to do the same. The United States captured 88 rocket scientists from Germany in a special operation named Operation Paperclip.
Disregarding the war crimes committed by the scientists, they took them back to the US to work for the Army developing weapons. They proceeded to whitewash them, destroying records of their past actions and making them seem like good people who were not involved in the war. Wernher von Braun contributed greatly to the success of the United States in the space race. He developed the Redstone and Jupiter rockets, which were used by the military to bring early satellites into orbit. Shortly after NASA was established, he became the Marshall Space Flight Center Director for the administration. Here, he helped develop numerous rockets for the purpose of spaceflight for the United States. He developed the Saturn rockets, with the most notable being the Saturn V.
Saturn V fueled the Apollo program, launching all Apollo missions starting at Apollo 8 and ending with Apollo 17. Its boosters boasted firepower that no single rocket engine has ever been able to beat, even to this day. Wernher had designed the rocket to eventually put humans on the moon, developing it specifically for moon travel. It would launch a spacecraft to the moon, which would orbit and send down a separate lunar module for moon exploration. The United States was fixated on the idea of space exploration because they were in a Cold War, an arms and intelligence race happening between the United States and the Soviets. The US, opposing communism, needed to prove that capitalism could produce better results than communism. With the power of Wernher von Braun, they were able to prove this by getting humans on the moon, winning the space race. This triumphant achievement was greatly due to Wernher's contributions with his rockets. Without the Saturn V rocket, the United States would not have been able to get to the moon and prove themselves as better than the Soviets. Wernher von Braun was truly a tragic figure. His involvements with the Nazis in World War II prove him as incapable of being completely redeemed. Despite his past, he still created great accomplishments for the United States. The success of von Braun's contributions to American society reflect the best of what humanity has to offer: ingenuity, perseverance, innovation, the triumph of the human spirit over the physical world. It is tragic that these praiseworthy accomplishments are overshadowed by von Braun's tragic legacy of torture in Nazi Germany.